Hi, and welcome to this video on multiplying monomials and polynomials. Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about the distributive property. Okay, well, what does it mean to distribute? The distributive property tells us how to handle multiplication of an expression in brackets by multiplication of an expression outside the brackets. Okay, so for example, let's start with something simple. For any real numbers a, b, and c, the distributive property tells us that if we multiply the number outside the parentheses by every term inside the parentheses, then we end up with a times b plus a times c. So notice a times b plus a times c. And then if these are numbers, we can actually add them together and simplify to get the value. Well, remember, you must multiply the expression outside the brackets by every term inside the parentheses or the brackets. Okay, so just remember that as we move on in our applications of distributive property. Okay, let's distribute some monomials and binomials. Okay, so remember, 5 could be a monomial, and x plus 2 is a binomial. So we're going to use the distributive property to simplify this. So 5 times x and 5 times 2, so we end up with 5x plus 10. Let's try another one. In this case, I have a negative monomial outside of the parentheses. So I'm going to multiply negative f times g and negative f times h. So I get negative fg minus fh. Okay, let's try negative 1 times negative y and negative 1 times negative 6. I end up with y plus 6. Okay, negative 12 times 5 and negative 12 times negative 6. Well, this one ends up being negative 60 plus 72. And my final result is 12. Another way that I could do this one is to go ahead and subtract 5 minus 6, negative 1, if I didn't want to use the distributive property. And negative 12 times negative 1 is a positive 12. So we end up with the same thing when we have numbers. Okay, let's try this one. 5 times negative b and 5 times negative c, I end up with negative 5b minus 5c. Okay, so let's move on. What about monomials and trinomials? Okay, well, remember that we're supposed to multiply the term outside the bracket. So in this case, x by every term inside the bracket. So x times 6, x times y, and x times negative z. So that's 6x plus xy minus xz. And of course, we should put everything in standard form. So the degree on 6x is 1, the degree on x is 1, and the degree on y is 2. The degree on x is 1, and the degree on z is 1 as well. Sorry. So xy has a degree of 2, and xz also has a degree of 2. So these are the higher degrees, so they should actually go first. But they both contain x first, but then y and z, we'll put those in alphabetical order. So we'll rewrite this as xy minus xz plus 6x. So notice that we have a degree of 2, 2, and 1, and yz comes in alphabetical order. So that basically simplifies that when we have two variables with different degrees multiplied as a term. Okay, so now let's look at negative 2, and let me erase this so that we can see the next problem. So hopefully you copy that down. Okay, so let me go back to my pen, and let's look at negative 2 times negative 6 plus 3s minus 6t. So we end up with 12r minus 6s and plus 12t. Okay, simple enough. Let's try one more. Okay, so negative 5f times g minus h plus I, so negative 5fg, then positive 5fh, and then minus 5fi. Okay, so all of those are the same degree because each one has a degree of 2, f has a degree of 1, h has a degree of 1, f has a degree of 1, g has a degree of 1, and f has a degree of 1, and I has a degree of 1. So the degree for each one is 2, so those are actually in order in standard form. Okay, so we have monomials and trinomials. All right, so basically this is how you use the distributive property to multiply a monomial by a trinomial or a binomial. So in the next video, we'll look at some more difficult multiplication of monomials and trinomials.